Android TV streaming boxes are a dime a dozen these days. You can find a bunch of them selling on Amazon or other third-party resellers for pretty cheap. And they all advertise coming with Kodi or some questionable live streaming service. But here's the thing though, they all generally suck. See, these boxes take the Android OS that is meant more for your phone and then throw it on a device that projects the identical interface on a huge screen without touch. And this includes all your apps as well. Now, most Android apps in general don't scale well to a tablet. So let's not talk about a TV. They are clunky and you have to click, meant to click up, to get to the essential button that you wanted to press. The text can be very hard to read from a couch, and the icons too. Oh, but don't worry, you say. Just get a keyboard and mouse and you will solve that clunkiness problem. That'll make hitting those small buttons easier. Oh, who are we kidding? At that point, I must as well just connect an old computer up to my screen and use it as a home theater PC. And Android really isn't that optimized for a mouse as well. Oh, and on those Android boxes, you'll be lucky to get Google Play Store or even a user interface that is usable on a couch. These things are just clunky. Enter the Mi box. It's small, even smaller than my phone. It runs Android TV, a proper built for TV OS from Google itself. It includes a quality and easy to use remote. Oh, with a mic as well for voice searches. It's 4K, 60p, HDR ready, with a HDMI 2.0 cable included in the box. Oh, and it's cheap. So from the spec sheet, it looks promising. But does it deliver? Hey guys, it's Adro, and today we are taking a look at the Mi Box International variant. This video was brought to you by the Xiaomi MC AliExpress store. To pick up a Mi Box of your own, or to order in wholesale, check out the link in the video description. Opening up the packaging, we get the essentials. The box itself, a short 1 meter HDMI 2.0 A cable, a 10-watt power adapter, the remote, which is powered by two AAA batteries that are not included, and documentation. On the front of this oval-shaped box, we have an IR receiver and an LED indicator power light. Nothing on the right and left side, but on the back we have a power port, USB 2.0 port, HDMI port, and an audio out port. No internet though. Boo. And like I said in the beginning, it's small. Well, not as tiny as that little mini box thing that Xiaomi has. Seriously, that thing is crazy small, but it's not optimized for Western markets. It still fits discreetly in most home theater setups. The remote is dark, sturdy, and compact. Its buttons are delightfully clicky, with little to no mushiness. And the mic on the top plus Google's fantastic audio recognition system works together very nicely. Setting up the Mi Box was surprisingly simple. Plug it in, turn it on, pair the remote, log into my Google account by going to a website on my computer and signing in from there. So none of that awfulness that is typing a 30-character password with a remote. Thank you very much, Google. And voila! We are greeted with a wonderfully beautiful UI that is called the lean back interface, which you see right here. The home screen is filled with a carousel of content from multiple sources like YouTube, Plex, Spotify, and more. And the app launcher on the bottom is full of large and easy to read text. Navigation makes sense and we don't have any weirdly placed buttons. Animations, while not running at a constant frame rate of 60 FPS on this 4K screen, are still way smoother than most smart TV UIs I have played with, and the animations look gorgeous, cohesive, and fit well with Google's unified UI. Searching is super easy as well, with the mentioned remote with the mic and dedicated voice search button. Just press the button and say the name you want to search. Even weird titles for movies, songs, and others can be searched quickly by just spelling the name out loud. Pretty much all the apps I've tried support voice searching as well. Though that being said, you could have easily searched on the home screen because the device does support universal search. That is if the app enables it. And it being a Google device, it still tries to push you to get it from Google's library first. But hey, at least universal search is there. And from the home screen, you can also ask it simple questions for it to answer back. Who is the current Prime Minister of Singapore?
Lee Hsien Loong is the Prime Minister of Singapore.
Just don't expect to do complex Google searches. And yes, if you're not a fan of voice, the on-screen keyboard is still an option. and works great as it spaced nicely in a grid for faster navigation on a D-pad. I just wish it had the option of a T9 keyboard because that can be faster for some people. The app selection from Google Play is decent. The library for video streaming isn't as big as something like the Roku, but all the Google Play stuff are here, like YouTube, Play Movies, and Play Music, and most other video services are there too, like Netflix, Vimeo, Plex, Kodi, VLC, TED Talk, and even things like Facebook Video. The apps I've experienced range from mediocre to good. YouTube navigates and streams 4K content without any problem for me, though you cannot disable autoplay, which is annoying, though it's gonna be fixed with a new version, as I hear. Spotify works okay. If you have used Spotify on any other TV, it's pretty much the same thing here with meh search, limited navigation. For example, you cannot navigate by artist on the TV. You pretty much just have to search and hope for the best. Thankfully, you can use your phone and Spotify Connect to get past all these issues. Plex looks and navigates great, and plays back content on my server with mostly no problem. More on that later. Funnily enough, the Google Play Store is honestly bad at discoverability of new or interesting apps, and the inability to go straight to a developer's page or even view ratings from an app's description really annoys me. And also note, Amazon Video is not officially available on the Mi Box as it's limited to a specific few Android TV boxes. Ugh. Looking away from video streaming services though, you do get quite a big selection of games and utilities as well. Many of the games look decent, but don't expect any console quality games. It's mostly a bunch of mobile games. Generally, all of the apps look great and are super easy to navigate. Oh, and this is pretty much a Chromecast with the Mi Box Google Cast support, so any apps that support Chromecast, which is quite a fair amount, works pretty much perfectly with the Mi Box, like you are using a typical Chromecast. Still can't find the app you want? Well, screen mirroring with an Android phone is there too, as a last resort. And in my opinion, it works way more reliably than Miracast. However, with that being said, there is no official browser on the Mi Box. The only way to get one is to install an unofficial one from the Play Store. While I get the point that most web browsers don't navigate well on a D-pad, the option to get Chrome officially would be nice, as some video streaming sites still don't have an Android TV or a Chromecast app. Other than that though, it seriously feels like this UI, OS, and hardware was tuned for a TV, and it works great. Seriously, even the settings app is laid out well and is beautifully animated. But that doesn't mean that the box is perfect. Far from it. From a hardware side, it lacks USB 3 for fast transfers, a memory card slot for subtly expanding the paltry 8GB of internal storage, and an Ethernet port for times where even the 5GHz AC Wi-Fi can't cut it due to range or interference issues. Furthermore, the hardware is underpowered for heavy gaming or even 4K 60p video without some staggering or stuttering. Most casual games and simple emulation stuff work great though, but hey, cheap price. I can forgive those shortcomings. I'm not sure if I can say the same when it comes to software though. It's honestly quite buggy. Remember the star at the beginning? Well, when I first set it up, it had an option to copy your Google account information straight from your Android device to ease setup. Sounds great. I could never get it to work on both my Android phones. It just got stuck there forever and I wasted like 45 minutes of my time that could have easily been used for playing with the box, waiting. Secondly, the box refused to detect my TV's proper resolution. It still thinks that my TV receives a signal of 720 60p at best, while in reality my TV can go up to 4K 60. Granted, a small tweak fixes that in settings, but it really should detect it out of the box properly. And for reference, none of my other equipment in my house have this issue, and the bugs keep rolling in. I had a case where the box refused to play YouTube videos, and one case where it just kept playing YouTube videos in the background with no way to stop it without a reboot. For a while, I could crash the Google app by just searching the phrase hello. Voice search, while usually very accurate, can be buggy at times and not give me any response. Playing back videos in Plex with the AC3 audio codec makes the audio play at full volume, for it somehow doesn't follow the box's media volume settings. No Ethernet port is a downer, and while it could have been solved with a USB Ethernet adapter, a lot of USB Ethernet adapters work intimately with this device. And you know what? There are just so many small bugs here and there that I'll just link a Reddit thread where you can see people complaining about all of it. Oh, and you know about the box where it says HDR support? Yeah, it doesn't fully support it now, as it's only supported on Android Nougat, which is not here yet. This box is still running Marshmallow. Yep, late 2015 software in 2017. Xiaomi has said in the past that it'll get it soon, but they said it when it was launched a year ago. To their credit, beta builds have been leaked which are completely downloadable and installable from XDA within the last few months or so to semi-confirm its actual coming. But seriously, it's been more than a year since the device was announced, and Android N has been out for roughly as long as this device. What a disappointment that it doesn't have N, considering it didn't really have any software skin, and how it was heavily marketed that it supported HDR, with no mention that it was only coming in a future update. Now I'm personally confident that this device will receive N eventually due to the mentioned leaks, and from what I've read in forums, some of the bugs mentioned are rectified in this update. But the fact that Android O might already be released when N comes out for the Mi Box is simply awful and unexcusable. And I guess while I'm complaining, there are some other small things on my wish list that I wish this device would have too. As the proprietary power adapter does already output 5V 2 amps, I wish it could run off micro USB instead of this connector, as this would make buying replacement power adapters for longer cables, the rare case of a broken adapter, a lot easier. The remote is a little too simplistic, and I would have liked to have shortcut buttons for fast forwarding and quick app shortcuts like the Roku remote does for faster navigation. The Mi Box recommended section on the home screen is great if you actually use the services that are recommended, which to be fair, are common apps for the US like Voodoo, Sling, Hulu, etc. But as someone who doesn't live in the US, I find it pretty useless, and in the way as I can't customize it. Thankfully, if you really hate it though, there is a way around to disable it, and for some reason, Daydream, the screensaver from the box, doesn't have a built-in option to grab photos from Google Photos. I have to buy another app for that. Weird, as the Chromecast actually does support this. And as much as I like the contoured top design from an aesthetic view, and apparently so does Red Dot as it won an award for it, it prevents you from stacking anything on top, which can be annoying if you own multiple set-top boxes. So with all these cons, you probably think I don't like this device. Weirdly, even with all its shortcomings, I kinda like it. I've really been enjoying using it to watch YouTube, videos from Plex, and play songs on Spotify. The option to silo apps if I need them is great too. My other family members figure out the navigation quickly, and have actually been enjoying using it. That's something I can't really say about my other devices like my home theater PC, my other Android box, and even the Chromecast which it has now replaced. Yes, it has its shortcomings. Lots of it. The bugs are annoying, and while a few unmentioned ones have been squashed, many remain that are bothersome at times and require me to reboot the device once in a while. But if you put those aside, you get a box that is small, runs a very clean, modern, and TV-friendly UI with great voice search, and acts as a Chromecast as well. If you have a dumb TV, or even a smart TV that isn't that smart, this could be a great option assuming 4K isn't too high of a priority for $69 US. However, it's not alone in its quest of bringing streaming content to your TV. At $69 US, there's a lot of competition. It's the same price as a Chromecast Ultra and Roku Premiere, which the latter has a bigger content library and does 4K 60p better, but at the expense of a somewhat outdated looking UI. It's also priced in between the two Amazon Fire Sticks. Each device have their pros and cons, and I unfortunately could not compare all of them thoroughly as I don't own them, but I will say that in my opinion, aesthetically wise, Android TV's interface is one of the best looking out of the bunch, while remaining customizable with its core being Android and thus being able to do more unique things, like run apps like emulators and servers and whatnot. And sadly, the Mi Box is one of the only few options out there for Android TV, outside of maybe the more than doubly priced Nvidia Shield and the 30 or more for the Razer TV, both of which aren't really worth upgrading to in my opinion if you don't stream much 4K content or game. For my use, as someone who mainly consumes content through Plex and YouTube at 1080p, it works great, and I personally love it and recommend you consider it if you are looking for a new mid-range streaming box. Does it live up to its promise though? No. The slow updates, bugs, no official Amazon support, and misleading marketing make it quite disappointing. But is it decent, beautiful, and worth considering, especially if you're already used to Google Cast? Absolutely. Just be aware of its limitations and issues before you buy it. So thank you guys so much for watching my review of the Mi Box. Once again, if you would like to pick up a Mi Box of your own or to buy it in wholesale, check out the Xiaomi MC AliExpress store down in the description. Keep streaming, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching again, and I'll see you guys next time.